All right, but let's get into the NFL, man. Let's talk about some things that took place over the weekend in Week 15. We're going to start with the hometown team, Kansas City Chiefs. Handle business, snapping their three-game losing streak, right? Am I tripping? Or
No,
two-game losing streak. Patrick has never lost 3 games in a row. 2-game losing streak, taking care of business in Foxborough against the Patriots, 27-17. Pretty uneventful game except for one particular moment. Early fourth quarter, Patrick Mahomes. It was the third quarter?
I don't remember, but I thought it was third, but it could be fourth. Yeah, it was probably
fourth. I thought it was third fourth, just because I feel like there was a lot of time left in the fourth quarter when it happens.
Yeah, but it probably was.
But Patrick Mahomes tries to hit Kadarius Toney across the middle. Pass hits him right between the 1 and the 9. He bobbles it. It goes directly into the hands of a defender in Chiefs territory. The Patriots end up scoring a touchdown on that drive, making the game the Chiefs were still in control, right? But they put the game a little bit into doubt. But the Chiefs ended up winning that game. And so there was a lot of talk on social media about Kadarius Toney and his performance this year and overall what should happen to him, because obviously this is not the first time he struggled with drops. It's not the first time he's had a ball hit him in the hands and then him bobble it and deflect it directly to a defender. So I will ask you, sir, if you were Andy Reid, Brett Veach, what do you do with Kadarius Toney?
We talked about this a little bit earlier this week or whatever. I'm putting him on the bench. Or I don't know how many snaps technically he plays a game, but he's seeing the field on punt returns, maybe, and he might see a couple snaps a game for some decoy stuff. But I'm making some kind of change to the point to where he realizes that, hey, like, unless you get this thing, figured out, unless you take full advantage of the snaps that you are getting, or unless in practice, which I don't even think they practice much anymore going into these last weeks. I don't know that there's a lot of I think there's more so just walkthroughs than practice or whatever. But I'm putting him on the bench. I'm saying, hey, let me see what I can get with Richie James. Because at this point, it's not a situation where he's just not making plays. He's making plays that hurt the team, and that's the big thing. It's not just, he's not ran the wrong route or he this, that, and the third. He's making plays that are hurting the team, as it pertains to the drops and obviously the tip ball interceptions or whatever. So I'm putting him on the bench. I'm not cutting him because that wide receiving room is just so
thin.
Thin. But I'm going to give some other guys some opportunities for snaps that he's getting. Sometimes it just takes throwing somebody on the bench in anything to get their head. We might bring him back and start him the next game and be like, and he might come out of it. So. But I just don't think you can just keep giving him the snaps, keep doing the same thing, and have any kind of expectation, because then there's no accountability for him just not playing well.
So for context, Rashee Rice led all receivers with 60 snaps, which was 92% of the reps on Sunday. Then there was Justin Watson, 44 snaps, and then Kadarius Toney with 26. I'm pretty sure after that, I don't know how often he was on the field after that play, but only 26 snaps on Sunday. So I agree. I thought I ain't gonna hold you. My first thought was cut him. I get the room is not, in tip-top shape. I get it's thin, but like you said, you got Richie James. Richie James plays the same position as him. Mecole Hardman's coming back off of IR. I think they opened his practice window this week. He plays the same position as Kadarius Toney. Get him to the bench or cut him, because not only you've had this issue now in the first game of the season that led to points. You had this issue in this game that put the Patriots in great position that led to points. And let's just say, granted, one play does not win or lose a game, to be fair, right? But what if that is the play that gives the Patriots the confidence, and then all of a sudden now they're unstoppable, right? And now all you momentum people, here's your chance to chime in. What if that's the play that gives them the momentum and the Patriots come back and win that game? Everybody's going to point to that play as the turning point, as the thing that changed the tide in that game. And so my thing is this is who Kadarius Toney is. I posted a video in the group maybe not the group we're in. Me and Reese had we'll talk. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next question. But we had a back and forth about what to do with Toney and who's at fault and who's to blame. Where I posted that video from the Senior Bowl where he runs an impeccable route. He sends the defender the complete wrong direction. He's wide open. There's no one around him. He throws the ball. He drops it. This is who he has always been. And I get it. He has all the potential in the world to be a at worst 1B, number 2 receiver, I think. But he has the potential to be a 50, 60, 70 catch a year player. However, you cannot trust him. And it's like to me, the analogy I use was, it's like having someone who's a talented cook, a really good cook, and you go, you know what? They can cook amazing meals. It's just that 8 times out of 10, they burn the food. And it's just like, well, what does that do for me if more times than not, when I ask you to make bacon and eggs, you burn the bacon and the eggs are fried too hard? Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't.
Bacon is much better burnt, by the way. The crispy bacon that just snaps. Oh, yes.
I don't need no burnt bacon, bro.
Yes.
Like, yes. Would you like your bacon crispy? Yes. But once you start to get the black, you start to lose. Now, because I am a bacon connoisseur, I will eat certain parts of burnt bacon, right? It doesn't deter me unless it's like completely charred. But my point is, like, you can't have that. You can't have that. And so I can't trust you in that moment. And I think you saw a lot of frustration from Mahomes in that point. And somebody tried to read his lips, and he something like I bleep and can't, like how he was going off, right? And so I am with you. I probably would bench and probably give strong consideration to cutting him, because to me, at some point, you're gonna throw that ball to him in a big spot, and he's going to do the same thing he's done all season. He's not changing. I got this comment here. I understand the frustration with Toney, but you have to give him a chance to correct his mistakes. He's young. He's in his 3rd year. Like, I don't know how much time you get to correct these mistakes.
The other thing is this. A running back comes in and fumbles the ball, they sitting down. Like the way we treat running backs that don't have ball security, they don't know how to pick up blitz coverage or whatever. Your quarterback gets hit, you fumble the ball, they sit down. They might not see the field for the next game.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of that though, Rashee Rice, like, he needs to be walking around the facility with the football in his hands, high and tight, and randomly people need to come and try to peanut punch the ball out of his hand, because he fumbled twice on Sunday. The first one, he was down by contact right before the ball came loose, but he had a second fumble that I believe he recovered. I don't think he lost that fumble, but he recovered it. And again, Rashee Rice, 92% of the snaps on Sunday. I think a career high in receptions. I don't think it was a career high. It might have been a career high in yardage. Or no, I think he went over 100 yards the previous week. But a career high, I think, in receptions. Got his 7th touchdown of the year. Even on that touchdown, he almost dropped it. He bobbled it, and then to hear McKinnon say, "Oh yeah, we improvised that." The call was for me to hand the ball off to him, but we knew he was a touchdown away from, I think, either tying or setting the rookie record for the Chiefs for touchdowns in the rookie season. And so we improvised that on the fly. And I'm like, bro, first of all, y'all having enough time as it is scoring points. Number one. Number 2, your man's almost messed that up for both of y'all because he couldn't execute. Like, bro. Like,
but you know what though? I'm okay with it because it's an incomplete pass. You know what I mean?
But here's the thing though. He juggled it, and there's like a lot of traffic. There was a lot of traffic. Dog, I'm saying there's a lot of traffic about that. So to continue the discussion about the Chiefs real quick, me and the homie Maurice Elston from Arrowhead Pride, we had a really good conversation, good back and forth about assessing who's at fault for the struggles of this Chiefs offense. Right. We were really heavy in our group. We were really going in on Toney, saying, look, you got to get, like we talked about. Let's go with not Ross, Richie James. Let's go with Richie James. Let's go with Mecole Hardman, bench Toney, cut Toney. And he goes, well, I don't understand why you guys are being so hard on Toney when Pat throws a terrible interception, when Travis Kelce drops a pass in the end zone that could have went towards points. And they ended up having to settle for a field goal later on that drive. He's like, to me, That's the problem. The play calling is the problem. The line's the problem. He's like, nobody in the offense is performing up to a consistent standard that we've come to know under the Mahomes era. So I'll ask you, given the fact that Pat has had some bad mistakes, or Patrick, excuse me, has had some bad mistakes, Kelsey's had some crucial drops, some critical drops, should we hold Mahomes and Kelsey to the same standard that we are holding Kadarius Toney?
Absolutely not. I'll hold Kadarius Toney to that standard when he wins us games. Mahomes and Travis Kelce wins the game. They Chris Jones wins the games. You know, like these are the guys that are the reason that, you know, you're in a playoff picture, that you're leading the division. You know what I mean? And when you start winning, there's a little more leeway you can get. You know what I mean? With some snafus and bad passes or a penalty or something to that extent. I mean, you look like Jason Kelce last night, you know, has a false start in the game against Seattle. You know, a big he had 2 false starts in the game, I believe, against Buffalo a few weeks back, that they ended up winning in overtime, but like 2 critical false starts. And it's like, you know, like, what's the guy's name on the Chiefs? Jawan Taylor or whatever. Like he's the one I'm like, hey, get it together. Like, you're the most penalized, you know, player in the league. You know what I mean? Like, I'm giving Jason Kelce some leeway because he's helped us win games. You know, he's gotten us there. So no, I'm not holding them to the same standard. And plus, I think that those 2 guys are not guys that you have to go in and say, hey, you know, you're playing bad, or hey, you know, go hit the jugs machine, or hey, maybe you need to spend a little bit more time, prepping for next week's game or whatever. Those are guys that want to do it and known to being able to do that weekly. They literally coach themselves, you know, because I believe they hate losing that much. So yeah, I'm not holding them to the same accountability. I think they know that they're not playing right now well enough to win the AFC.
So what do you think? So his other point was that because they are the team leaders, because they are the best players on the team, that the standard for them is even higher. So his point was, because they are the best 2 players on that offense, they have to then pick up the slack for these role players like Toney, who are not pulling their weight.
They are. That's why we're 9-5. That's why we're 9-5, and we're not 5-9. You know what I mean? Like the Chiefs are a catch and a offsides away from being the number 1 seed in the AFC. You know, MVS catch and Kadarius Toney being offsides. You know, so Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes didn't have nothing to do with those. As a matter of fact, Patrick Mahomes made an amazing pass, and Travis Kelce made an amazing lateral. They should have won because of those 2 guys, and they lost because of the other 2 guys. You know what I mean? So they are picking up the slack for those guys, and that's why, you know, we're winning games. You know, the Patriots are the Patriots. They're not any good. We were going to win that game. But winning on the road in the NFL against Bill Belichick by 10 points, it's not a bad win. You know, it wasn't necessarily an ugly win outside of, you know, that interception or whatever. That's a good win.
So I'm assuming maybe this point, quick battle rap interjection here from Michael Cobb. Forgive me if I mispronounced your last name. Who won Loso or Arsenal Sup Award? I am assuming he's referencing the Loso versus Arsenal battle that took place on the URL app. Loso 30, if I remember.
Yeah, Loso 30 to yeah, he definitely 30 to Arsenal. That's one of the things that if you don't, you know, there's a whole world out there that does not have the app. You know, there's a big world out there of people that have like not seen these battles, you know, that might see a flyer, that might see a clip, they might be scrolling on TikTok and see something that pops up that's viral from 2 years ago, whatever, and be like, yo, they battled, you know? And so it's interesting. When I talk to a lot of people in barbershops, airport, wherever, you know, just in walking, like talked to a guy at the sports bar the other night who was a huge, you know, battle rap fan back in the days, you know? And he's just, oh, this battle happened. Oh, that battle happened. Wait, Murder Mook battle, New Jersey twerk. That's crazy. What, you know what I mean? Like those kind of things. So, yeah, shout out to you, Michael. But yeah, Loso definitely 30. All
right. So to bring it back to sports now. So this is from my pops, my dad. He says they don't deserve a pass. They make mistakes. What's this? The Michael Jordan standard. And I think honestly, that's what.
Okay, so you mean to tell me, all right, if Kadarius Toney drops passes every game, he deserves to stay on the field. And if Patrick Mahomes throws an interception every game, if Kadarius Toney drops a pass every game, we're benching him. If Patrick Mahomes throws an interception every game, he's gonna be the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I mean? Like it's not a one for one thing. I'm not saying that like when they don't, Mahomes is one interception away from his career high, I believe. I think he's one interception away from his career high, and we still got 3 games to go. So he's more than likely going to. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's accountability there, but it's like they coach themselves. You know what I mean? Like I don't think Andy Reid has to pull them in and say, "Hey, I think we're going to go a different way with you." Hey, Kelsey, I saw your podcast. I know you and Jason want to play for the Browns. So like when they mess up, they're treated different.
I agree 100%. Your stars are your stars, and your stars get more leeway because they have the equity. They built in the equity of when they mess up, you understand that that's what comes with it because they are human. They are going to make mistakes. Do you have to, in front of the whole team, do you have to chastise Pat and say, hey, Pat, you can't make that throw here. That's a terrible decision by you. Absolutely. Hey, Travis, you can't. I think he fumbled against the Packers. Or it was either the Packers or the Eagles. It was one of those games where
he punched the ground right after. Yeah.
Right. You have to protect that ball there. I understand you want to fight for extra yardage, but you got to know when you've done all you can do and get down because these guys are coming from every direction trying to knock that ball loose. Right? Do you do that publicly? Yes. But those, again, like you said, those guys have set the standard. They are the standard bearers. For those who are not those players, you are trying to ascend to that standard. And if you cannot ascend to that standard, we have to find people who can then replace you to try to get there. I get it. This receiver room is a failure. I've been on this podcast critiquing Brett Veach for saying, hey, you thought you had something, you miscalculated. You got this wrong. If I didn't say it before, I'll say it now. To me, next season, there should be 2 players on this roster in that wide receiver room. It's Sky Moore and it's not Rashee Rice. Yeah, Rashee Rice. I would say Justin Ross. Those are the only 2 players on that team who should be there as a wide receiver next year. Justin Ross, Justin Watson, MVS, Kadarius Toney, McCole Hartman. Sorry, guys. We thank you for all you've done, but we're going to go a different direction. And you got to rebuild that room because this bargain basement approach that you tried, it didn't work. It failed. And so, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yes, those guys need to be better. But again, I can trust that more times than not, when we need a play, they're going to make a play. If Patrick Mahomes has to be able to trust that when he throws Kadarius Toney that ball, that he's going to catch it. Because what's going to happen is you're going to have Pat see him wide open, and he's not going to throw him the ball. And to me, that has happened this season. You have seen that on tape. Players being open, but because they have not performed, Patrick hasn't thrown the ball, and it's caused issues in his own performance. And the last thing I'll say about this is that when you have these players underperforming, though your best players feel like they do have to overcompensate, and that's what causes these silly issues, these silly turnovers, these silly mistakes that they normally do not make because they're trying to play perfectly. Patrick alluded to that in the quarterback docuseries about trying to be perfect because he felt the pressure because things were not going well defensively. The defense was a sieve. Right? They were giving up mad points. He felt like he needed to score a touchdown every time out. It led to him taking chances that he shouldn't have, and it hurt the team overall. And to me, that's part of their problem, on top of Matt Nagy, on top of the wide receiver room. So, yeah, y'all let us know what y'all think about that, man. What would you do with Kadarius Toney? Would you bench him? Would you cut him? And if you were bench him, who do you replace him with? All right, so let's jump to the Patriots real quick in this equation. So there's been lots of talk that started this coming into this game, reports that the New England Patriots were going to move away from Bill Belichick at the end of the season, and he was going to be free to either retire or go coach another team. To me, Bill Belichick is the greatest coach in NFL history. He may be the greatest coach of all time, regardless of sport. Yes, greater than Bear Bryant, Nick Saban, the Wizard of Westwood, John Wooden, Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach, Pat Riley, you name it.
Whoa, wrong Pat.
Pat Summit. Oh,
thank you. All right, thank you.
He's the greatest of all time. So, what if you were the Patriots? Would you look to move away from Bill Belichick?
What's out there? I mean, I think the only way you look to move away from Bill Belichick is if you know you got something coming in that is like, all right, you know what I mean? Like it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
So that's the only way I'm moving away from Bill Belichick. And then from Bill Belichick, the only place I'm going is a place like Los Angeles Chargers. A place that is built right now with a quarterback and an offensive system, and I come in with my defensive mind, and I'm like, all right, let's get this ball rolling. You know what I mean? So I think both of those situations have to be a good marriage. The Patriots going to have to know who's coming in, and Bill Belichick, if he's going to keep coaching, he's going to do the Sean Payton thing. He might even sit out a year or something like that, but he's going to wait till the situation presents itself.
Yeah, I mean, so here's what I think. I would keep Bill Belichick if I'm Robert Kraft under one condition. You got to get a GM. Bill Belichick has been the GM for, I mean, the entirety of this run, and he has been incredible at finding talent. But I think he is losing if he hasn't lost his magic. I'm going to say this, but I know if anyone is listening, they're going to pause it. He's lost his magic touch. Like he no longer has the ability to find great talent. And if you go and look at his like draft classes, they leave a lot to be desired. I want to see if I can pull this up real quick, but it's just to me when you look, especially with the first round. So if you look at first round picks, I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be a first round hit for him. He tore. I don't know if he tore his ACL
Christian
or his
Barmore was
Achilles.
first round, wasn't he?
Second.
Oh, okay.
Barmore was second round. Mac Jones was the first round pick that year. Cole Strange, I think he's the guard, was a first round pick. I mean, good player. No first round picks in 2020, 2019, N'Keal Harry, 2018, Isaiah Wynn. No first round draft pick in 2017 or 16. 2015, Malcolm Brown. 2014, Dominique Easley. Now, Dominique Easley was playing really well. He suffered a terrible, I think, ACL injury that pretty much ended his career. And then you got to go to 2012 when you get to Chandler Jones before you find an all pro that he selected in the first round. And I just named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 draft picks. 2012 before you find a first round draft pick that's an all pro. If you pull this out, extrapolate this out to the first 3 rounds, to me, the first 3 rounds are where you find the base, the foundation of your team. And again, this year, I think Keon White, second round, Marte Mapu had an interception in this game against the Chiefs. Cool. Tyquan Thornton last year. Not really. Marcus Jones, he's all right. Like you mentioned, Christian Barmore, cool. Ronnie Perkins, Then you get to 2020, Kyle Duggar, yes. Josh Uche, yes. Anthony Jennings, yes. So, I mean, but also in the third round, Devin Asiasi, who's a tight end who's out of the league, I believe. So, I mean, again, his track record as a drafter, especially on the offensive side of the ball, has been abysmal. He's missed. He can obviously still coach a defense. He's really great at that. But his ability to find skilled players, to find a quarterback, to find that type of talent, I personally do not trust. And if he does not want to cede that power to an actual GM to make those decisions, then I'm calling LA and say, hey, let me get that first round pick. I'll take a first round pick because my concern is if he stays in that number 2 spot and they draft a Drake May or Caleb Williams, if the first overall team decides to go with Drake, I'm concerned with his ability at this stage to properly develop a coach, because Mac Jones was not terrible in that COVID year.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't great, but he wasn't terrible. And to me, he's regressed, and part of that is on Bill Belichick's docket as being the person responsible for that. So that I personally would not. I personally would not choose to, unless he's willing to give up that power.
You think he needs to bring in like new coaching staff as well? I mean,
I think he needs to have a true search for a dope offensive coordinator. He's not, but here's the problem, right? He's not going to give him control. I mean, I guess you could bring back Josh Daniels. I mean, that was Mac Jones' most productive year was under Josh. So yeah. I guess you go back and get Josh Daniels. He's a great coordinator, not a great head coach. Right. So maybe that's the fix. But to me, you have to go and find someone to run that offense and especially with you being in a position to draft one of the top 2 quarterbacks in this draft. Yeah. So that's my personal preference. And let me say this last thing in closing. I know people like to try to make this chicken or the egg thing with Brady and Bill. Like, let's be honest here. Tom Brady is in part made by Bill Belichick. Tom Brady himself has said he's not who he is without Bill Belichick. It is not Tom Brady made him or vice versa. This was the perfect marriage of 2 great coach, great player, and that led to 20 years of success. Right? So that first Super Bowl, that defense, I mean, honestly, those first 2 or 3 Super Bowls, the defense is leading the way, and Tom is, to quote Cam Newton, he is the game manager. He's not the game changer in those first couple of Super Bowl wins. Then it starts to flip. Brady starts going crazy. The rules change, which is in part because of Belichick and his defense, and Brady takes off, and we see what he becomes from there. But please, people, put some respect on Bill Belichick's name when you talk about him. I get it's not great now, but don't be disrespectful. Y'all let us know what y'all think. Let us know what y'all think about that. What should the Patriots do with Bill Belichick? Should they let him go? Should they trade him? Should he stay? Hit us up at Brains and Bars on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. All right, so let's jump into some of the other storylines around the league. Last night on Monday Night Football in Seattle, the only time I will ever root for the Seahawks they stunned the Eagles 20-17 to win in a fun Monday night game. I did not get to watch, by the way. I was a little busy, but they stun them. Philly loses their 3rd straight game. They're now in 5th place in the division. The Cowboys hold the tiebreaker over them as it currently stands. So let me ask you this. Is this slump from Philadelphia an anomaly, or is it a sign of things to come in terms of their future, their odds of being a Super Bowl contender?
I think it's somewhat of an anomaly. I mean, they had a 6-game stretch that was just 6 very, very tough opponents, if I'm not mistaken. They get the win against Kansas City. They get the win against Buffalo in overtime. They lose to Dallas. Then they turn around and they lose to who they lose to?
Seattle.
Outside of Seattle. But then I think they lost
49ers.
49ers.
San Francisco. Dallas.
So the Seattle game was one of those like, nah, this is supposed to, this is, but losing to the Cowboys and the Niners, I don't think it's kind of like those are 2 very, very, very good teams. I think what it is that when teams like the Chiefs and like the Eagles are starting to take a few lumps down the stretch, it's kind of like ain't nobody scared of y'all anymore. Not that they were scared, but ain't nobody. Don't make look at you like you walk in with that swagger, like you're the team to beat. Like, if you get the ball last, it's a W. You know what I mean? And I think with them both being like the returning teams from the Super Bowl, like no team in the AFC is looking at the Chiefs like that, and no team in the NFC is looking like the Eagles like that. Now, can the Chiefs beat anybody in the NFL? Yes. Can the Eagles beat anybody in the NFL? Yes. When it's all clicking. So I definitely think the 3-game stretch. You love to see it because their coach is just so easy to not like. You love to see it in that aspect. I wish that it would have been Geno Smith that beat them. I'm not the biggest Drew Lock fan, but I do like Geno. But I do like a lot of the guys that play for the Seahawks. So he got the backpack. I definitely think that they're gonna right the ship. I think that they have 3 very winnable games coming up to end the season. Kind of like the Chiefs.
They got the Giants twice.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think who that 3rd game is against. The Cardinals.
Okay, yeah. So that the Chiefs and the Eagles should definitely, there should be no more losses going into the playoffs. The Cowboys are the team that you need to look at and say, hey, I think they got Baltimore, they got the Dolphins, and they got one other tough matchup.
I don't think it's Baltimore. They got Miami this week. I think.
Oh no, San Francisco has Baltimore then.
San Francisco has Baltimore. Oh, they got the Lions. So they Cowboys finished Dolphins at Miami, home the Lions, on the road to the Commanders to close. Okay, the season. Yeah. So 2 back-to-back tough games.
Yeah, and after the way the Cowboys looked, Miami and the Lions are 2, especially with the Lions fighting for a 1 seed. Hell, That Baltimore game, seven weeks in a row now. The underdog has won Monday Night Football. 7 weeks in a row. The underdog has won Monday Night Football. And the Ravens will be going up against the 49ers on Monday Night Football.
Wow.
As a
Okay. I'm
dog.
pretty. Eesh, well, that makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Philly, I think Philly is in trouble from this standpoint. I think they needed to win the division. I think if they could get one home game, I think they could probably go on the road and beat. To me, they can beat the Niners.
Well,
They
I
could
still
beat.
think they'll win the division. I mean, there are 3 games up against it. I don't see the Cowboys winning all three of those games.
Okay, we gonna put a pin in that. We're gonna circle back to that.
Cowboys have the tiebreaker right now.
Right, Cowboys have the tiebreaker right now.
Yeah.
But I do think Philly, if they have to try to go from the wild card to the Super Bowl, I don't see them. They'll beat as a 5 seed. I think they'll beat whoever the NFC South representative is. Right now it's Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay can be a tougher out, although they did play. They were a Hail Mary pass away, in which I believe one of those players were interfered with. Yes. No, Chris Godwin was. Chris Godwin was interfered with on his way down the field. Otherwise, he would have been in position to catch the ball.
Yeah.
But I think they'll beat Tampa. But going through either San Francisco and or Dallas at home to make it to the Super Bowl, I cannot see that happening. Yeah. Let's jump ahead to Dallas. Dallas.
Who are they?
They got Buffalo Stampede, right? They got run over literally in Buffalo. James Cook has a career performance against them, runs all over the field. And I think that's the question, right? They were riding this wave. They had beaten, trounced Philly at home. They have been smacking teams upside the head at home. And I think the thing that people were saying, and we're saying that's like, hey, can they travel? Can they go to somebody else's stadium? And it was a mess against Buffalo. 15-yard penalties, keeping drives alive, couldn't stop the run. Josh Allen's Josh Allen, and it's 31-10. And a team, if anybody needs home field advantage, it's the Cowboys, because obviously they play like champions at home, but they seem to be frauds on the road. I hate to use the word frauds, but they are not good on the road against good teams. And so I'll say this, and I'll let you talk about the Cowboys, and you can talk about their identity crisis and who you think they are or are not. I said last week on the show, I mentioned the 2014 Royals and how that was the team that made it to the World Series, Game 7 against San Francisco. And leading up to that run, Royals fans, when the Royals are good, this is a great town to be in because they are super excited about this team. But I said, hey, do not get your hopes up and invested in this team. Make them earn this fandom. Don't, because they might let you down, right? Cowboys fans, I get it. You're super confident. Let me speak to you in the language you understand. Hold on one second. Let me get the boy shades on real quick. These are the scammers. These are the international vibe shades, and these are down the Cowboys shades. Listen to me, Cowboys fans. Listen, I get it. You're super confident. You believe even when they're below 500, a number 1 overall seed of a team, that they're always a play away from the Super Bowl. But make this team earn your trust. They have not earned your trust this year. Yes, there's their Super Bowl against San Francisco, laid an egg. The Super Bowl against the Philly, the first game, couldn't finish. Super Bowl against Philly, and the next time they handled business. This was not necessarily a Super Bowl game. Maybe it was a rematch from a previous Super Bowl, right? But this was a big game because they need to continue to win in hopes of getting number 1 seed. They dropped the ball. Make them earn your respect and your love and your admiration. Do not get your hopes up with this team until they show you that they can win, not just at home, but on the road. All right? Y'all them boys. I'm not them boys. Y'all them boys. Until next time, Dallas fans. All right, I'm done. That's my speech to Dallas fans. All right. But so I'll ask you this question. As we look ahead to next week as they take on the Miami Dolphins in Miami. These are 2 teams that a lot of people have been critical of they're not beating anyone of note, right? Their Cody resume is lacking. Facts. So, looking at this game, who do you think will be the victor between the Cowboys and the Dolphins? And I'm going to, and before you answer, I'm clipping this down and sharing this to Ricky and Los. So choose wisely.
All right. So I am picking the Dallas Cowboys. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys to win the game in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, right?
Yep, in Miami.
I'm picking them to win because I believe Dallas is the better team.
Okay.
I believe Dallas is the better team as far as offensively, defensively, and don't even get me started on special teams. Where the hell did they find this Aubrey kid who just walks on the field? And
man,
let me tell you what, Dallas Cowboys fans, Aubrey has earned your trust. All right? The rest of the team still needs to earn your trust. But that kicker has earned your trust.
Did he miss his first? We missed his first one this year, right?
And if he did, it was against the Bills. I didn't see the whole entire game. So if he did, it was against the Bills. I know Butker missed his first one. Against the Patriots. If he did, like I said, I didn't see the entire game.
He's still perfect. Still perfect. 31-31.
Yeah, but I'm taking Dallas just because I think they're overall the better team. I think coming off of a loss, they realize what they have to have in this Dolphins game. You know what I mean? They lose this game, then they lose the division. You know, that's just pretty much the facts of it. And I'm not sure how healthy Tyreek is. I assume he's going to be back for the game, but if he's not back for the game, I think it'll be difficult. The one thing though, you guys saw James Cook just eat up that Cowboys defense, right? Listen, they got two of them boys down there in Miami. They got two of them joints down there in Miami. That Mostert and is it A-Chain or A-Chain?
A-Chain.
Listen, you better
Blockchain, A-Chain,
whatever it is, man. They got two of them over there. So you better be mindful. But if I had to pick just with coming off of a loss like that to the Bills, I do think Dallas plays worse in cold weather. I know it's probably cold up there in Buffalo. It wasn't frigid, but I'm sure it was not. Temperatures weren't that great. It's going to be nice in Miami. It's going to be similar to what it is in Dallas. And I think knowing what's on the line, knowing that you can't lose another one, I think Dallas takes care of business in that game. I have them losing the next one to the Lions.
That's a home game, though.
Watch.
That's a home game.
Because that's what the Cowboys do. That's what the Cowboys would do.
Okay.
They're going to get their fans' hopes up and be like, nah, we don't lose at home. And then 2 games before the division, they're going to drop one to the Lions.
I'm going to go with I'm going to take the other side. I'm going to take Miami. I think.
Is this an MVP game? Is this a huge MVP game?
No, because right now Brock Purdy is the MVP. And I don't say that with like any what's the word I'm looking for? I don't say that with any like happiness, right? Like I'm not excited about that because I like to stay underneath the radar. Let me put it that way. And I also believe that Tyreek Hill is the MVP. I get Christian McCaffrey to me should be second. To me, the top 2 MVP guys, I've been saying this now for weeks, is Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill's number 1, CMC's number 2. Amazing player, man. And to me, then we can get
to because Brock Purdy kind of knocked you out of the fantasy football playoffs too. There's a little bit.
Listen. Don't get me started. Like I hate ESPN. Here's your weekly recap. I lost. That's the recap. Right? Stop reminding me. You're currently down right now. I know, bro. I checked the score. Man. I went 0-4 this weekend. I got 2 leagues left to still try to win the chip. So but Brock went crazy. I faced McCaffrey in the League of Greats.
I
went up against smoked Smoked me.
Was it Nathaniel? Did you play Nathaniel or you played Velasquez?
I played Nathaniel.
Oh, 150 something.
150. Yeah. So I mean, it was rough, man. It was rough. Let me take a quick second to highlight the fantasy football people. I know people say nobody cares about your fantasy football team. Well, listen, it's a black and white thing. We care. If nobody else cares, we care. So we want to hear from you. What's your stories? How's your team doing? How's your season going? Are you still alive, or have you died? Are you a degenerate like me and are in 8 leagues, which is partly A Ward's fault? He's partly to blame for this. Are you in 8?
I'm in 7, man. I'm in 7.
Yeah, I mean, we get it's like getting to Labor Day and Ward hit me up. Yo, I need one. Can you join? I'm like, I don't know, bro. Man, I already told him you were super cool, bro. Come on. All right, man. All right, bro. So, are you a degenerate like myself?
Let me tell y'all a quick story about Mr. Dan, aka A1, aka Carlos, aka the man of many leagues. All right.
Oh,
we're in a dynasty league, right? A keeper dynasty league where you keep like all your players every year, right? He's so emotionally tied to these losses and everything that's going on in his life that he drops Justin Herbert in our keeper league.
Listen, bro. I'm in 8 leagues. Like first of all, I started off like 5-0. 4 or 5-0 in the dynasty league and only won like 2 of my last like 7. It just completely fell apart in that league because I didn't quite understand how the dynasty thing worked. Well, 2, Cooper Kupp, Aaron Jones hurt all doggone season long.
Yeah.
Before Herbert got finished for the season, his performance tanked, so my team fell apart. That's another story. But I was in so many leagues, and I'm just like looking at some of the wreckage and the carnage, and I'm like, oh yeah, Herbert's done for the year, so. Yeah, no reason to hold on to him. He'll be there to pick up next year. And I dropped him, and then somebody in the chat goes, and as soon as he went, I went, oh, snap, my bad. Like, yo, Commish, do your boy solid. Bring him back, please. I didn't mean to do that. Yes, please. But nah, man. But yeah, hit us up, man, at Brains and Bars on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Hit us up. Let us know how your fantasy team is doing or did this year. All right, let's jump into the last topic so we can close out for the night. We're going to close on. Actually, let's talk about the Bills real quick. Are the Bills the most dangerous team in the NFC and the AFC? Excuse me.
No. I think. I don't know that there's a dangerous team in the AFC, but I mean, I guess if you say there has to be a most dangerous, I always think that we're 1 week away from saying somebody else is the most dangerous. The Bills could easily lose the game this week, you know what I mean, and be like, not even making the playoffs. You know what I mean? How you gonna be the most dangerous if another loss keeps you from the playoffs? Period.
I mean, they're playing the Chargers. Now, granted, it's in LA, but they're playing the Chargers, and we just saw what happened to the Chargers against the Raiders.
Hey, Max Duggan needs to start for the Chargers. At least that man that's similar to when Tim Tebow was winning games. They need to throw Max Duggan in and see if he can run a quarterback draw. I don't think I would say that the Chiefs and the Dolphins are still as dangerous as the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, so I think it's really a week to week basis with all three of those teams. Do the Buffalo Bills have the most impressive win as of late? You know what I mean? That's an impressive win, what they just did to the Cowboys. A very impressive win. The last Chiefs impressive win,
the Dolphins. No, because they went up 21 and had to hold on to the lead.
They still beat a team that was considered one of the best in the NFL at the time.
Okay, I can rock with that. Mean? So to me, the Bills are the most impressive team, are the most dangerous team in the AFC right now. And I said this last week and I'll repeat it again. If they make the playoffs, they're going to the Super Bowl. Right. I think they have the defense to compete with any of the teams that are currently in the playoffs. I think Josh Allen, I've said it before, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the league, but when Josh Allen is on, he's Thanos. There's nothing you can do with him. You cannot sack him. You cannot bring him down.
That man was on when we beat him.
Okay, first of all, that's not his fault though, right? Like let's keep it a buck. That was Batman versus Superman right there in that particular.
You just called him Thanos, so Thanos would have beat Superman.
Maybe. Well, I mean, first of all, Superman's a bad enough. I feel like Superman is weak. The way Ricky hates Captain America is the way I hate Superman. I think Superman's the weakest superhero of all time. That's neither here nor there. But I think I think when he's on, he cannot be stopped. And he doesn't even have to have that performance against the Chiefs. It's just that in that Chiefs game, for example, there were several times where they had him dead to rights and they couldn't bring him down. They couldn't stop him. And so to me, that's what I mean in terms of Thanos, because he's so big, you can't get him down. If you feel like you got him dead to rights, he just stiff arms you or steps around you or runs away from you, and he's throwing 60-yard rockets on the move that are on target. And so I think that team right now, because they are in survival mode, they are going to be super tough if they make the dance. Now, the problem is that they got so many teams ahead of them, including the Bengals, including the Colts, including the Browns, who just, like, we'll talk about a team that won't die. The freaking roaches of the NFL right now. They survive everything.
Joe Flacco out here.
Oh, my God.
350.
They should have lost that game. They should have lost that game. Like, Chicago, bad tackling, bad angles. It's three of y'all in this place. How do y'all let Amari Cooper? Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, yeah, I just think that's their issue, is can enough teams in front of them lose? I think the Colts are ahead of them. I think the Texans are ahead of them. Will enough teams lose that they can at least get to that 7th spot? And they get to that 7th spot, now you're looking at
the season starts over. Yeah, I get you.
You're looking at meeting up with Miami again for the 3rd time, because I don't know if the Chiefs are going to be able to climb up past Miami or Baltimore. So, listen, I'm not giving him too much credit, Sydney.
He will definitely throw it. Yes,
he will. Listen, he's going to throw you one. Will you catch it is the thing. But the thing is that
no, you will. The statistics show that he'll throw you one you won't catch, and he'll throw you one you will catch. The statistics show.
But the point I'm making is
he only threw for 90 yards against the Cowboys. He didn't even play a great game. That's probably the thing that's alarming about it.
He didn't have to. When you can just keep running halfback power all game and they can't stop it. Hey, I don't need to throw the ball, you know? So last thing, and we're going to get out of here on this one. My team, San Francisco 49ers, are the number 1 seed in the NFC. It was an interesting game against the Cardinals. They end up winning by double digits. They got the Ravens this weekend, game of the week. I got the Ravens. I want to say the Niners, but my pessimist outlook would not allow me to take them. So I'm going to take the Ravens. In part, though, I do have a good reason. Their 2 interior linemen, Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead, are banged up. They did not play on Sunday. That allowed the Cardinals to run for a season high in rushing. Now you got Lamar Jackson coming to town with your 2 best interior linemen either not playing or severely banged up. That's why I think they will win the game. But if by some chance, some miracle, those underdog, plucky Niners can pull off the victory against the mighty, mighty number 1 team, Super Bowl favorite Baltimore Ravens, if they go 2-1, they will be the number 1 seed. So let's just assume they win the game and they beat the Commanders. That's who they got next week. Last game of the season, they would have wrapped up home field throughout the playoffs. Do you rest your starters that final game of the season?
Who is it, Cardinals?
Rams, who will probably be playing for a playoff spot because they're in the hunt for a wild card spot.
Yes. Yes, I rest the starters. However, I'm going to give it back to that. I want to ask one question before I get back to that. Is this an MVP game?
Yes. This is the game for the MVP because it's Brock
Lamar
Purdy.
Jackson comes in and wins on Monday Night Football, goes crazy. This could be. Yeah, okay. All right.
And if Brock Purdy does the same, he's the MVP.
Back to this. I don't think that you live in fear, but you just lost a Super Bowl because of injury. You know what I mean? Like last year, you just lost because of a freak, drop back, take a sack, whatever. You have everything locked up. Limit the hits on your guys that are going to win you a Super Bowl. Put the other guys in and let them play.
All right, let me put on my bang bang Niner gang specs here.
Okay.
These are multi-purpose glasses here.
Okay.
Just pretend that they're red. Just pretend that they're red. Listen, Kyle. First of all, let me congratulate you. I've been a critic of yours in the past. You've done a great job this year. To me, it's worthy of Coach of the Year consideration. But I wouldn't be mad at Kevin Stefanski winning Coach of the Year because of the job that he's done in Cleveland. But that's neither here nor there. If you beat the Ravens on Monday night, and then you should beat the Commanders in Washington the following week, I don't want to see a single second of Christian McCaffrey, Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams, Chase Young,
Fred Warner,
Draymond, aka Draymond Greenlaw, Trevarius Ward, Diamador Lenore. I almost said Joey Bosa, Nick Bosa, all of them, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead. All I want to see are 2s and 3s on that field, as if we're playing basketball. That's all I want to see on that field. 2s, 3s, and if you got a 4 out there, put them on the field. I don't care if the Rams are trying to make the playoffs. Let that be for them to deal with on another day. But you let Sam Darnold and Jordan Davis, I'm blanking on his last name. It's not Jordan Davis. It's Jordan something. I can't think of his last name right now. I'm blanking on it. But you let them handle your light work, all right? You guys have done enough. You need to rest. I don't want to see it. Bang, bang, Niner game, baby. Anyway.
I'm with you.
That's our show tonight. We appreciate y'all tuning in to another episode of It's a Black and White Thing. Please remember, you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Please give us 5 stars. You can also check us out on YouTube by searching at Brains and Bars. We go live. I'm trying to be more consistent once a week. This man leads a busy life. So if he cannot join me, I will have no problem pulling up solo dolo and trying to entertain you for about an hour or so. So check us out there. Hit the notification bell, comment, rate, review, subscribe, share that as well. You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brains and Bars. You can check out A Ward. Where can the people find you, sir?
I am A Ward on almost everything. Twitter, I am _A Ward until the original I am A Ward gives me the Twitter handle. But holler at me. Make sure you follow, like, subscribe, say nice things. God is good.
All right. And until next time, it's been a black
and white
thing, man. I holler at y'all. Y'all have a good week. Enjoy. Happy holidays.
Buenos dias.
No, it's not. It's adios.
Good day, adios. Right? Have a good day. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias is good morning.
Oh, buenos noches. Good night. Buenos noches. Good night.
There you go.
Yeah. Right. Hasta luego. Yeah.
There you go. Hasta la vista. All that good stuff.
Yeah. Ciao.
I'm pretty sure that's Italian. But
doses. We out.
All right, y'all.